Are you a professional pillow fighter? Or a 9-to-5 low-cost time travel agent? Or maybe real estate sales on Mars is your profession? It doesn't matter. Whatever it is you do, however complex or intricate, Monday.com can help you organize, orchestrate, and make it more efficient. Monday.com is the one centralized platform for everything work-related. And with Monday.com, work is just easier. Monday.com, for whatever you run. Go to Monday.com to learn more.
Well, I don't see the point in waiting any longer, so let's bring her out. The star attraction, the one you came to see. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Miss Judy Gold.
All right, so you living in Phoenix, but you're flying.
I got the gig in Birmingham, and Rob Bartlett, speaking of Gary Grant.
I love Rob Bartlett.
Who doesn't? So still works for Gary Grant to this day.
I know. What is that? That's amazing.
I called in on Imus like a month or two ago. He randomly emailed me one day and said, "Hey, won't you call in? We're trying to have some more comics call in the show." And I'm like, "Sure." And I called and did a segment with him, and he was the first headliner I worked with in Birmingham, and he goes, "You might as well have stayed in Alabama if you're going to live in Phoenix. You can't be a comic
right and live.
You got to go to New York if you want to do comedy. You got to go to LA if you want to go more into acting and writing."
Right.
And I wanted to tell jokes. He goes, "My agent Gary Grant will help you get some gigs, but he goes, you'll spend every penny that you make living here,
right?
Or if not more."
Right.
And I took him up on it. I ran into a girl I'd gone to high school with, and she'd just gotten a job with American Airlines and was moving here to be a flight attendant.
Right.
And I saw her back in Alabama and said, "I'm going to sleep on your couch." And I just followed her.
Did you sleep on her couch or in her bed?
No, I slept on her couch. I lived with 5 women for a year and a half, my first
And
apartment.
you never had sex with
Not
any
with
of them?
any of them. All their friends and relatives. Everybody close to them, but none of them. Not
really?
One, ever. No, don't shit where you eat. Never. All their friends and relatives. I was 22.
Your non-father taught you well.
I was 22.
Wait, so where was this apartment?
44th between 6th and 7th. So
and it was right by the Improv.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 2 blocks away.
Right.
9th Avenue, across from the Cafe Un Deux Trois is still there. It's that building.
Un Deux Trois. So did you work at the Improv?
I didn't. She didn't like me, and
Silver.
you know what's really weird is she's Silver Friedman, and Bill Hicks. I knew Bill from the road, and we were in there, and I got an audition in front of her like a week before he did, and she didn't like me and told me don't come back, but I came back with him just to watch him.
Right.
And she didn't like him either. And then I remember leaving, and he goes, "Well, I guess you don't like country. I don't know what to tell you." Because you're Alabama, I'm Texas. I guess you got a prejudice against the Southern people. I'm like, your act is not anything Southern, Bill. I can understand why on mine.
She didn't like Bill Hicks?
I remember getting sent away.
Not getting it.
Within 2 weeks, so I never wanted to go there or never considered that a decent club.
Right. Because they had really good French fries.
I knew who Hicks was at the time.
And so where did you? I know you worked at Catch.
That's where we ended up. Yeah. So
did you work at the Strip too?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Aleutian was always great. Caroline's was great early in the day, and then following on through with Christmas Illy's been great. The Cellar, I was there at the Cellar back when.
Remember at 87 with Grunfest.
With Grunfest, Wild Bill Grunfest.
And he used to sit at the piano, and no one was in there.
Not a soul.
No one was ever in there. I used to sit in that corner, and they had the best food. I had the borscht.
Still have the great food.
Yeah,
Still
best
have the best food.
Well, some of the stuff is missing from the menu.
Ray Romano will still murder somebody over those chicken wings.
Yep.
Yeah, they're so good.
They are good.
God, that was so. All right, so I remember you, mid '80s Catch.
Yep.
And you were really good friends with Brett Butler. Because I was friends with Brett Butler.
She hated me.
So I'm friends with Brett.
Did? Yeah, she despised me. That's what
because
she
was
I was Southern,
and there was she was not going to have it.
Market of one.
Joy Behar and Judy and Susie Essman used to go to bat for me. When Brett Butler would get really, really mad at me. And she just despised me.
And it was only because he had a Southern accent.
Wow.
Don't you think that was why?
Bad. Yeah, she thought we had a similar joke.
What was it?
So it's about comparing. If it's ironically odd if someone that has a hardcore New York accent makes fun of me and my Southern accent.
Right.
It's funny if you're going, "Hey Bobby, how you doing?"
Oh, right.
Look at this fucking guy. He's fucking stupid. Look at the fucking guy. He's stupid. It's the same goddamn. So it's a variation on that.
Wow, because two people would not think of that if they live in New York.
If you moved here from Georgia and Alabama, it would never dawn on you to make that comparison.
Did you ever? Did you ever make up with her?
No, God no. It got so bad where she would not even come in catch if I was in there.
Right. She wouldn't go on the show with you. I remember
and so,
this.
and it was the whole front of the building was a window. So knowing that she had given me this much power, when I would see her approaching on the sidewalk, I would run straight to the glass and knock on the glass and wave at her.
That's so funny.
So she'd have to stand outside. I can tell everybody, I go, watch this, guys, watch this. I mean, everybody, I can make her not come in here. Watch this. And I'll go there, I'm like, hey. And she'd just fume and go storming off.
She really.
She's a sick person. She's crazy.
Yeah, she.
You know,
friends on Facebook somehow.
You are?
She friended me one day out of nowhere. Like,
it's so weird because
you should look up the old stuff where it's been 8 or 9 years ago maybe, but Rosie O'Donnell is talking to her.
Oh.
And when she says
she's clairvoyant
with pets, and she first knew it with pets.
Oh boy.
I always felt like there was something
That's
off.
one of my friends.
It's a dead serious clairvoyant conversation.
I just can't believe that show was going to go into syndication. Her show,
three episodes away.
3 episodes, and they hated her so much they didn't even force the 3 episodes.
Right. Pulled the plug.
No, Foxworthy brought that out. He was on Nantucket last week, and so
he brought that
yeah.
out?
So you do the Nantucket. I love that. I want to do that.
You did it. You killed. You crushed.
I had it.
That was 3 episodes away.
Yeah.
Foxworthy was telling this exact story like a week ago. I heard you.
So
there were 97. There were 3 episodes from the 100.
She would have been like loaded for
forever.
Fat City.
Dumb.
So all right. So you got a lot of help from other comics.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all helped each other.
Yeah, and people love. I mean, I remember when I was middling and whatever. People loved to have you on the show because you were funny and you were not a fucking asshole.
Well, that's us. Only 2 rules.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
Well, there were plenty who were not as funny as they thought they were, and they were fucking assholes. But you started. I mean, you did the evening at the Improvs and all
that stuff, Caroline's and VH1.
And who was the first person that gave you like a break?
Well, that was Rob Bartlett brought me to the city and got me. I wouldn't have gotten any of the city clubs or become the comedian I was if it wasn't for him saying, come to New York City.
Right.
So he's the first person.
Right.
And then on the road, Foxworthy's about a year ahead of me.
Yeah, that's what I was.
So he's about a year ahead of me, and we're doing the Southern gigs, and he's just been promoted from going first to second.
Right.
And I'm just getting paid to go first for the very first time. And we liked each other. And so you could request the club owners who you wanted to work with.
Right.
So me and him and Tim Wilson.
Well, you could if you were
good
penis.
Enough. Yeah.
And if you had
true.
a penis.
Right. If you were good enough. That's true, Judy.
Yeah.
And so they all, and then we met Ron White.
I love Ron White.
Through the Funny Bone chain.
Right.
So we meet him 2 or 3 years in. And then now you're just trying to hook your buddies up with gigs where we can work together and go see ball games.
Right.
Basically. And then once the point everybody becomes a headliner, then you can't work with your friends anymore because everybody's a headliner.
Yeah.
But, that's basically. But Foxworthy and Ron, a ton. And the Funny Bone guys were pretty good to me for, idiot club owners.
When'd you meet Lewis?
And so I met Lou here. And I met Lou here. Yeah, I met Lou. Lou was at Hannah and her sisters.
Yes.
When I met him.
Oh my God.
So I met him at Catch. The very first time I met him, Louis Ferranda. You got to put on.
Oh, Louis Ferranda.
Louis Ferranda.
Yeah.
No. He's talking about Louis Black.
Yes, yes.
Louis Ferranda was in charge of the talent at Catch.
Remember? I remember.
Catch.
At
Let
Catch.
me
That's
tell
where
you
he first started. That's where he first started. Yeah.
I don't know if you were there, but I went in. I was in college. I used to hang out there, and he was the bartender.
Yes.
And he goes, I'm telling you, you're gonna get on one day. You're gonna get on one day. But yeah, he was the bartender.
I know funny. I know funny.
Keep it up.
Freddie Prinze slept on my couch.
That was his big claim.
He would throw in some sort of Freddie Prinze reference and how he knew funny because he knew Freddie, which is fine. That's fine. That's good enough for me. Yeah.
So you started working with Foxworthy and all. Now, did you ever? What the fuck is with my thing? Oh, did you ever get jealous, like when you saw like Foxworthy becoming,
Nah, he thought of those jokes, and it's funny. You don't plan that. He didn't sit there and say, "I'm going to have a catchphrase" or "I'm going to think of something."
Right.
He was just on the road and noticed it, and then his wife encouraged him with that train of thought. So he looked in the Yellow Pages in Atlanta, Georgia, and found a local publisher that had only done like covered bridges of Georgia.
Right.
Best peach cobbler recipes of the South. They're literally selling 12 books a year, know, and he got their ad out of the paper and sent the guy and wrote the guy a letter and said, I think there might be something here. Yep. And the guy wrote him back and said, I'll give you $3,000 if you can write 150 of these.
No fucking way.
So he'd written 50 of them or so. And so he called me and my buddy Phil, who's not a comedian.
Right.
But who's in everybody's act. Phil's in Foxworthy's act. He's in Ron White's act. He's in my act. He's in a million guys' act.
Right.
Phil's funny. And so we went over to Foxworthy's, me and Phil, and we sat around and smoked a bunch of weed and wrote.
Banged them out.
Banged them out in like 3 hours, probably.
Really?
Foxworthy smokes weed?
He did back then. Now, this is 85, so.
Whatever.
No, he's a fine Christian man now.
Yeah.
He is? Did he switch over?
He's pretty straight-laced. He goes to Rwanda to help people.
Right.
You know, so, he's, I don't really know the denomination or whatever he does.
Definitely switch. Like, there's this phenomenon.
He was always clean, and he just stayed working clean. You
Right.
know, but he's a pretty straight-laced guy. He grew up going to church every Sunday.
Right.
I didn't.
Right.
You know.
Yeah,
so.
you're fucking.
No,
everyone's
I'm a
beating
heathen.
the shit
Right.
out of
We're
each
just
other.
running.
Yeah.
We're just trying to keep hope alive.
Where's he from originally?
Hapeville, Georgia. Right
Hapeville,
by
Georgia.
Hapeville.
Hapeville.
Right there by the airport in Atlanta. And the only thing that's there is the birthplace of Chick-fil-A.
Oh, he's a terrific person too.
What were you going to say about Foxworthy?
About Foxworthy?
Yeah. You said he's, and he's not. Sorry, I interrupted.
I don't know. You fucking.
Sorry.
You're an asshole. So,
That's why I'm here.
so you've worked with Foxworthy. You. Did you ever take acting classes?
I went out. Foxworthy and I sold a TV show to CBS in '92.
Right. What was it called?
It was called Banner Times.
Banner?
Banner, because he was from the fictitious town of Banner, Georgia, and he was going to move back to the town he grew up in and run the newspaper.
Oh, that's so unusual as a premise for a show that you would move home and get a job where you grew up. Wow.
You know.
Who thought of that?
It's me and
Fish out of water. Ding, 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 ding.
It was
All right,
mainly
good.
the wife. The wife.
Right.
Well, he had in the storyline because at the time all the sitcoms were just taking advantage of whatever the comics act was.
Right.
Right.
So Tim Taylor was the tool man. Roseanne was basically
Right.
Roseanne. So we wanted Foxworthy to be a cartoonist, and the You Might Be a Rednecks were going to be like Far Sides that appeared in the newspaper.
Oh,
I kind of remember
So that
this.
was going to be the idea.
Did it make it?
That made him famous. No,
Obviously not,
at all.
Leonard.
No, but I kind of remember him. Wasn't he in a show that he was a cartoonist?
Yes, shut
Yes,
up.
eventually when he got on the air, that was 4 deals later.
So you
Okay.
did. So you
So,
did this whole because this now.
This
for
was fun.
for the listeners. This time period was the period of comics getting television
Yes,
shows.
that's what you did.
That you just. I think I'm the only comic of that era who never had a holding deal. I mean, like. The fucking waitresses
Everybody
at
did,
Catch
yes.
had a holding deal.
And big ones.
Yeah.
$600,000.
And
Seriously.
we don't know if we're going to do something with you,
Yeah.
but here's money so that you don't
Yes.
do something with anyone else.
They were just writing
Except
blank
for
checks.
you, Judy.
They were writing blank checks at Montreal
Yeah.
every year, practically.
Yeah.
So you write the show and you pitch it,
Yeah.
and so you're young enough to think, "Oh my God, this is it," right?
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. And then
Right.
then
Right.
it's the politics of other things. What's her name? Linda Bloodworth Thomason, who
Yes.
she had Designing Women and Evening Shade.
Right.
And she had like 5 hits. They had just given her a 6-year, $42 million deal for her just to sit tight.
Right.
And throw ideas at us for the next 5 or
Right.
6 years. And here's $42 million. And she kind of liked our show from the beginning, and she knew if we got picked up, she was going to lose. Her 2 best writers were going to be our showrunners.
Oh.
And so you got into a little
Squashed her own show.
Yeah. So her first new show in her $42 million deal was called Hearts of Fire.
I remember that.
Billy Bob Thornton and Marky Post. And it's set in Washington D.C.
Right.
And they work for some sort of congressman that's from
Right.
somewhere like Arkansas or Missouri.
Right.
All right. So because she's who she is, the show does nothing. You know, we don't get picked up for our show.
Right.
Hearts of Fire does nothing the first year, but they're going to go for year 2 because, you know, it's her, Linda
Right.
Bloodworth. And year 2, they no longer set the show in D.C. They moved the show back to a fictitious town in Missouri where they're going to run the newspaper.
No
And
fucking way.
Foxworthy's watching an episode. He calls me on the phone. He was like, Henley, this is our fucking set. They're using our fucking set. And it was our exact set.
No way.
It was our exact set from our pilot the
No
year
way.
before. They literally just, threw a sheet over it for a year.
That's what when I did.
And then dusted it back
I
off.
can't take
They
it.
totally
No,
did
that's
this.
we saw. I remember when I did Margaret's show. We saw our set on another show too, and we were like, "Oh my God,
It's the worst.
the fuck!
That's how.
That's our kitchen table, you fucking asshole!"
Foxworthy's like, that's my desk. Foxworthy's like, that's
Yeah.
my domino. It is, Fox. It's totally your desk. I go, they put somebody else's wife's picture on it, but that was your wife's picture was on that desk a year ago. You're totally not wrong.
Ridiculous.
So that did
I
not
didn't know
go.
it. And he stayed in L.A. and I came back here.
And then what happened
With him or?
with you?
Oh, I came back here and just kept doing comedy.
Stand up.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you. Do you consider yourself a road comic?
Forever, yeah.
Yeah.
The majority of my work if I've been doing this 32 years,
Yeah.
28 of them
Right.
were 40 weeks a year.
Right.
So that's the road. It doesn't matter if it was a community college or a corporate or a club or somebody's backyard.
Right.
If you got the money, I'm a whore. I'll come up to your
Right.
house. I'll go whatever, I'm
And
going to
you
feel it out the best I can.
did you ever have a serious girlfriend?
I was married twice. So,
Oh, that would be Ish.
That was,
Please
yeah.
tell her
I
the
don't-
fact that I love
my first ex-wife's name is Robin Williams.
No, it isn't.
Yes,
Yep.
it is. I married Robin Williams. for
Wow.
real.
And
she's from Houston, Texas. We were
When
married.
did you? How old were you?
I was when we got married. When I met her, I was 26 and she was about 22. And then we were together about 3 years before we got married. So I was almost 30 and she was about almost 25. And we were married for 9 years.
wow, that's
that.
long.
So I was never around.
Where-
If I was on the road 40 weeks a
And
year,
did she live
saw-
in New
Yes,
York?
we lived in New York, and then she moved to LA with me. She was going to Columbia when I met her. And then she wanted to be a writer.
Right.
And she got in the creative writing program at UCLA, and that was when I sold the pilot to CBS. She went out there because she'd just gotten accepted to the
Right.
writing program. So she wrote a novel somewhere that I probably ghost wrote half of
Robin
it.
Williams.
So,
Robin Williams.
but she's
So-
Robin Henley because she
And you didn't
got
wanna-
tired of Nanu. all
You
the
didn't
time.
want to. You didn't
really
want to have children.
No, both the women I married, that was part of the plan. I didn't want kids. I don't like kids. The Henley,
Right.
it has to stop with me.
Well, I could see why you wouldn't. With that
I'm not doing
upbringing.
that. And both the women I married agreed full on into that, and that was fine, and that was no big
So-
deal. So
When you were on the road and she was home at your east,
Right.
is this the apartment you have in the
totally.
east side?
Right. Yeah.
So when did you get that apartment?
I got it in '96. I've been there 20 plus years. Yeah, I closed on Dr. King Day.
And
They're not supposed to be open.
how big is
And
it?
They were. It's about 1,000 square feet, but there's a deck on the back, and then the roof deck of the building is 3 buildings joined together, and it's fully turfed, and
It's nice. A 2-bedroom, right?
it's 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and
It's very nice.
yeah, it's
And
New York.
I remember
fucking
when
hate you so much.
No, but I remember when he got divorced. It was like a big thing. We didn't see Vic for like a year. You were paying.
I had to go on the road. She was going to try to take it from me.
No way.
Robin Williams was going to be an asshole and try to. She didn't care. She wanted her money, and she was going to go hardcore with the divorce. And I had to go on the divorce tour,
Right.
and pay her off
Like
early.
Chris Rock is doing
and
right now.
I basically did. Is that my gigs were not as high
Right.
profile.
I mean, Chris Rock divorce tour. I mean, really,
Right,
that must
but,
be.
I'm
yeah.
calling people that I'd never thought about working
Right,
for,
right.
and I'm
Yeah.
going to Erie, Pennsylvania, and shit like that. But
He did it.
I did it. I paid her off early, and but yeah, I was gone practically.
Yeah, a year.
40. I was hardly
So,
ever
and
home.
who broke up with who?
Oh, she broke up with me, and then on my birthday.
Oh, that's so good.
I knew it was the old something's up when,
Right.
when you bop out there on your birthday and there's not even a card.
Right.
If and then by about 4 or 5 in the afternoon, you're like, okay, you've had all day to run out. At
Right.
least get a card. We live in New York. There's drugstores
Right.
every 3 feet.
Right.
And then so finally, like dinner time, I'm like, are you sitting on something? Or are you going to tell me, is there a surprise dinner? It's my birthday. And she,
Right.
Oh my God. Oh, and then she just lets it all out. I got to tell you.
Did she have a boyfriend?
I don't know, but I found out later that she was always not faithful. So it was easy to get over
Now,
that.
and you were faithful?
Completely. I'm not a
No
cheater.
way.
Ever. I'm never a cheater.
Yeah, he's not.
Yay!
I'm never a
I
cheater
love
ever.
you.
No, I'm never a cheater. If I tell you that I'm with you, it's hard
Right.
to get me to commit. But if I commit, you got no worries ever. But if I'm single, you know.
But that's so unusual for a comic.
Well, back to the 2 idiot older brothers. I watched
Right.
them. They were the football playing
Right.
jock dudes, and they would have these really cool girls.
Right.
And I'm spending lots of time with them because of the age difference.
Right.
And then they would cheat on these really cool girls, and then they would be upset, and the girls are crying, and my brothers are crying, and they're crying to my mother, and my mother's calling them assholes for being
Right.
cheating football idiots. And so I just watched this growing up, and it was just such an easy pattern to go, don't do this
do
ever.
you-
Save yourself all this
Right.
heartbreak. Don't do this. My brother Terry Henley's 26 years old on the phone, and my mother is on the phone with you at 3 a.m. I wake up, I'm like, 14. I'm like,
Right.
what do you do? She's like, go back to bed. And he's crying.
Right.
Because he's done something horrible, and
Right.
the girls called him, and now she's got to drive over to an hour away to hold his hand.
Oh, God.
At 26 years old. So at 14-year-old me, when I'm never doing that
Right.
ever, that's just a lot of wasted ignorance for nothing.
Did you find now? So you're on the road, and there's other comics who are married,
Oh, sure.
and
Oh, he hangs with Ron White. I mean,
I've seen-
anything
what do
goes.
you think?
I don't even. It
what do
makes
you
me so
think the
uncomfortable.
percentage?
Oh, a ton. A high. 50-50, maybe.
Oh, I thought it was more than that.
It might be more, but I don't know. When I see it, it sickens me so much
Right.
that I just sort of.
Did you ever say anything to a comic?
No. I'll just. But I've had. There's 2 guys I know off the top of my head that I'm not saying their names. I was friends with one of them for a decade, and I'm sure to this day he wonders what happened to me.
Really?
Because I just kept seeing enough of his shit, and I just walked away one day. and just deleted all information and just never called him back. I'm sure his wife and children
So it
have a wonderful story about what he's made up about what happened, why Vic disappeared. But there's two guys, because it really hurts my heart.
Yeah.
And I don't want to blow up and be mean about it with them. And I just usually tell whoever I'm very confident with, an old friend.
Because it is true. It does tell an enormous amount about your character that you'd make a commitment like that and then just think you can fucking do whatever you want.
I'm at your Thanksgiving table.
Right.
I've been at Thanksgiving dinner with your family, and I'm going to watch you do this.
Right.
You dumbass.
Right.
And then what got up your ass? Oh, nothing. No, you're totally fine. Go ahead, date the stripper.
It's ridiculous.
Idiot. It is. Men are stupid.
We are stupid.
Welcome to Play It, a new podcast network featuring radio and TV personalities talking business, sports, tech, entertainment, and more. Play it at play.it.
So you worked with, you've worked with a shitload of people, but Sacha Baron Cohen.
Oh, God, yeah.
How'd you meet Sacha Baron Cohen?
Oh, that's a good one, Judy.
Thank you.
My friend Harry Thompson, who is no longer with us, everybody in my stories have died. But
it's great fucking,
Harry Thompson had 3 of the top 10 shows in England at the time I met him. He was a very successful British.
Where'd you meet him?
At the Cellar. He's literally on holiday. He's sitting in the Cellar on like a Wednesday.
What year?
98.
Okay.
But it's the old Wednesday night show, and I've got like the 145 spot and then a tell.
Right.
And there's like 6 or 7 people sitting there, and he stays and watches.
Sorry.
He stays and watches me in a tell.
Right.
And the next day he has Esty. Ding.
Sorry. Esty runs the Comedy Cellar.
Esty calls me at home and goes, "This man called me today. He says he's in television with the BBC. I do not know if it is okay to give your number." And I'm like, no.
Okay, that is such a bad Esty.
I don't know who that was.
What is that?
She was a little Asian, but I liked it.
Wait. Listen, Vic. Vic, it's Esty. Listen,
that's not even much better than mine.
Shut the fuck up. At least it's closer. There's a person here who says that. All right, I can't do
but
it.
anyway,
Whatever.
I say,
why are you on your phone, Lenny?
I'm looking for Harry Thompson. I don't know
all right,
what he
go
looks
ahead.
like. I'm mixing him up with probably Harry Hill.
Can I just say to the listeners?
Harry Hill, right?
Yeah, comedian.
Apparently,
Harry Thompson was a producer. He writer.
You forgot
author.
your glasses,
No,
and you
they're
have
prescription.
So.
You have prescription
sunglasses,
but you didn't wear.
I didn't wear them because what am I need them? I'm looking at you and Vic.
Because you're looking at the phone.
Well,
all right,
I didn't know I was going to have to look up.
All right, so.
But it's one of those things where I've told everybody, if you keep tap dancing around New York City, you never know who's there.
Right.
It doesn't have to be the sold out show with Radio City.
Right.
It could be 8 people at the Cellar on a Wednesday, and a very influential television producer saw you and invited you to come over and do like 9 television shows on the BBC.
So
and that's
he
exactly
saw
what happened.
you.
And he was one of the shows he was working on was a half-hour and fake news show, just like the Daily Show, that ended up being called the 11 o'clock show.
Okay.
And it launched Ricky Gervais and Sacha Baron Cohen. And so we came in, we had a meeting one night, and Harry said he went to a character night where he just went to a stand-up show where everybody was going on stage and just do characters the whole show. And the next day in the office.
Where was this?
In London. At some, somewhere in Chelsea, some just bar that was having weird-ass comedy night.
Right.
And the next day he came in and goes, "I saw this guy do this Ali G thing. And we need to give him a segment a week. We need him on. If we're on 5 days a week, he needs to be on at least 1 day a week.
And what are you doing? Wait, what are you?
I was a writer on the show at the time. I ended up doing some American. I would do field pieces and I'd do set pieces, and then I would also fly back and forth. And
you lived where in London?
I would stay with Harry. He had a giant, killer, amazing apartment in Bayswater, and I would just
wait. So what? Did anyone understand you in London?
Oh yeah, all the time. Yeah, especially the Scottish.
Really?
They understood.
I don't fucking understand them.
The Scottish and the Irish understood me the most, and the English understood me the least. But the Scots and the Irish, I had no problem every time I would work in those countries.
Did people ask you? They were probably constantly like, "Where the fuck are you from?"
They know. It's funny because they know certain American shows and then not. So they would they don't know the Beverly Hillbillies, but they might know the Andy Griffith Show.
Right.
They don't know the Dukes of Hazzard, or they do know the Dukes of Hazzard, but then they don't know this other one.
Right.
So depending on they had enough hillbilly
exposure.
They thought it was Dallas. Dallas was as big over there as it was here.
They loved Vic in England. You used to go there all the time.
I went 10 times a year.
Yeah.
I would
wow.
Go, the TV show's taped on Monday.
Right.
So you could do the Comedy Store on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, then have Sunday off, tape a TV show on Monday, and then fly home on Tuesday.
Wow.
And if you flew in the previous Tuesday, you're just going to London for a week at a time with a couple of off days sprinkled in there. And hanging out with some of the most cool, funny, creative people ever. And I would go sit and have lunch and dinner with these guys, and they would update me on what was going on in the news over there.
Right.
And so by the time I was there Tuesday, Wednesday, soaking it all in, when I hit the stage on Thursday, I had like 8 or 9 minutes about London.
Right.
Coming out of this voice.
Right.
And they couldn't figure that out.
That's fucking hilarious.
Vexed them. Yeah, that vexed them.
So
completely.
wait, when did you meet Sacha Baron Cohen?
About a year into late '98, he tells me that he invited him down. He goes, "We're going to have him come in." He goes, "I've got to go somewhere, but I told him to ask for you." Talking about me.
Yeah.
So these other 2 idiots are sitting there, and they're junior writers, and he's like, when he comes in here, don't talk. He tells them, "Be quiet.
Right.
Let Vic talk to him." And they're like, "Why?" And he said, "Because he's probably going to come in character and stay in character."
Right.
So Vic, I believe, will be able to. You guys are going to
spar
try to give him
with
the break.
yeah.
And then he goes, if it goes well, I bet you money he will leave and then come back 20 minutes later as Sacha.
Him, yeah.
And he totally did that.
No way.
Harry nailed it. Harry nailed it to the wall.
Wow.
He comes in, he does it. He does a Lally G with me, no more than 5 or 10 minutes. The other 2 dudes are sitting there just staring like they don't know what's going on. I'm asking him specific hip hop questions about who. If you're an MP, you're a member of Parliament. That's like being a congressman.
Right.
So I'm asking, what MP would he think would be the best rapper, and what would their raps be like? And I'm asking. So he's written.
So
with
you're
me.
like engaged.
Yes,
with him.
yeah.
Yeah.
So and he stays, like I said, 10, 15 minutes max, maybe. He leaves, and about 20 minutes later, he comes walking back in, totally jeans and a t-shirt, and he looks at the 2 guys and he goes, "Yeah, you guys, give us a couple seconds. I only need to talk to him."
No way.
So
was he already a known?
No. He was just doing some of those things, like with the character. That was the beginning of Ali G and the beginning of his whole thing.
When you saw him do this,
Yes.
did you know there's genius?
I thought it was the level of commitment,
right,
and the knowledge he had, because it was really, really smart, and
right.
he's not going to break,
right.
And I knew you put those 2 things together, who knows what's going to happen.
And he remembered you all that time,
and so
from years
absolutely,
later.
yeah, totally.
So then
we worked together for 2 years, and then he got the Ali G show, and
he became huge.
So I probably didn't see him from 2001 till 2008. So
and then how did you?
That's when that movie Bruno came out.
Right. So what happened?
He was working on Bruno, and Bruno wanted to be the most famous person on the planet Earth, and the whole movie's about homophobia.
Right.
And people like Borat. I think Bruno is 50 times better.
Right.
Not because I'm in it.
Right.
Just because
it's more cringeworthy.
It's just constant hard penis in your face.
Yeah.
Right.
It's every homophobic. So it
Right.
reminds me, like I said, like why it was funny to watch those Baptist cringe at Curtis Johnson all those years ago. I knew this was the point of the movie. Well, somewhere in the movie, he realizes it's not working for him, so he's going to go straight. Mm-hmm. And he develops the character called Straight Dave.
Right.
And originally, Straight Dave was going to be a stand-up comic, and he wanted him to be like Foxworthy, like you might be a redneck, but it was like you might be gay if.
Right.
And so we only wrote, the first joke I wrote was if you're at a Barbra Streisand concert and you're not Barbra Streisand.
Right. That's so funny.
So I was on board. So anyway, I didn't know any of this was going on.
Right.
And my phone rang one day, and it's Monica Levinson, Barry Levinson's former wife, yes. And she was the line producer on the whole thing. And she said, he's working on this movie, and there's a part of it where the guy's going to be like a redneck guy. And he remembered you. They were like, well, who has "you might be a redneck" jokes on the resume and Ali G London stuff? And he goes, Vic Henley. He's the only guy ever that has both those things.
Right.
And they found me, and I worked with them for about 10 days. And it was the greatest time ever. It was so
Really?
much. The same thing, because we're tricking rednecks. We're tricking homophobic rednecks.
Right.
We know we're going to stop.
Remember the scene in the movie?
There's 2 scenes. There's a scene in the movie where we started a riot.
Right.
And it was 1,200 people in an arena. They signed a waiver and didn't know what they were signing.
That is so funny.
And there's a scene in the movie where his boyfriend has left him, and they're going to fake like they're going to beat each other up, and they end up making out.
Yeah.
We had to meet with the chief of police of Texarkana, Arkansas.
No way.
Jay Roach is the producer, who also directed and he won Emmys for Recount and Game Change and all that. So Larry Charles is directing, Jay Roach is producing, and me and Sacha and one of Sasha's other writer friends had to go in both these cities.
I'll do that.
In the afternoon, we had to go in there and sit with the chief of police and the mayor while they're choreographing the makeout scene about what's legal and what's not legal.
Oh my God!
I'm just sitting there, and so Sasha's going. So they're on the floor, like acting like they're licking each other's crotches and doing all this stuff. And they're like, so I can lick his balls on the outside of the pants, but I can't put my hand inside his pants.
Right.
And the cop and the mayor are whispering.
Oh my God! I wish you had a recording
And then
of
they
that.
would look at me and they'd go, yeah. So I'm writing down, okay,
Right.
ball licking on outside, good. No hands inside pants. Not even just the fingers. Not even just the fingers.
That's fucking great.
So they're going over all these old obscenity laws, and we're having to write down the do's and don'ts. And I'll never forget those afternoons because we did it. We did it. We started the riot. We all hell broke loose. We blew up the place so bad that there was not enough security to calm down the riot.
Right.
So I had to go back in the octagon and turn the microphone on and tell them to calm down and act right.
No fucking way.
Because they didn't know I was in on it. They thought I was the ring announcer. Because the ring announcer did not show up that day, and I ended up in the movie. So you see me for a minute.
That is so fucking.
I had nothing with me. I'm in the buffet line at a Holiday Inn
way.
with Larry Charles. I'm sitting there again, ding, and we're in the buffet. It's like 4:30, and the promoter, who does not know his business is about to be ruined because he really put on 8 or 9 real cage fights.
Right. Yeah.
He didn't know they were going to trick him.
Right.
And so nobody's ever going to go to another event he's ever going to have.
That's fun.
We are ruining this man's life. And he comes over and he goes, my ring announcer's sick. And Larry looks at me and I'm like, you mean like the let's get ready?
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, but you can't say that. That guy's got that trademarked. And I go, if you need a ring, I go, Larry looks at me, I go, I'm a comic. You give me a microphone. I can go in front of 10,000, 50,000. I don't care.
Yeah.
You know, I go, but I only have shirts and T-shirts with me.
Right.
I go to the mall and buy me a suit.
Yeah.
And they went to JCPenney's.
No way.
Oh, ring announcer's always in a suit. So
all right.
they went to JCPenney's and bought me the most horrible Tommy Hilfiger
Right.
polyester. I kept it forever.
Yeah, the polyester.
I kept
You
it
still
forever.
have it?
I had it forever. It may still be in my closet, but it's itchy.
We gotta take a picture
hot,
of that.
sweaty, itchy, and I ended up, working my way into the movie, even though
Right.
I was just supposed to be there for the writing part. But
Yeah, you could see- you're
yeah,
in
you
it.
see me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you clearly see me
That's
on
so
camera for a
great.
scene or two. Oh yeah.
Okay.
But we blew up
I'm
the whole
watching
place.
that fucking this weekend.
Oh my
Yeah.
God!
That
it's so
scene
good.
alone, that is the scene of the movie where it's so
The beginning
uncomfortable.
of the movie, you see in silhouette that he's on an exercise bike,
Right.
And he's got a boyfriend that's like a little bitty Filipino man. And he's
Right.
not like a little person, but he's just
Right.
a small man. And it's just like the camera pans back, and you just see him riding the exercise bike. And as the camera pans back, you see that the boyfriend is on his knees in front of him, and the exercise bike has a dildo on him. It's going.
That's so
That's
funny.
the first 10 seconds of the
That's
movie
the best.
are that, and then he picks the dude up, and he's you only see it through silhouette where he's put a champagne bottle big in first in the guy's ass, and he's pouring champagne out of the guy's ass.
I love it.
That's literally the
I
first
think I saw.
2 or 3 minutes of the movie.
yeah.
Some of the funniest shit I
It
have
is
ever seen. It's so
uncomfortable.
it was just too
That
much.
movie is
It was too much. It
uncomfortable.
was too much for America.
So,
It was too much.
So funny.
Welcome to Play It, a new podcast network featuring radio and TV personalities talking business, sports, tech, entertainment, and more. Play it at play.it.
you've done a lot of radio.
I've been sure. I started. I just got fired from Sirius for the second time.
So wait. So
I quit in 2005.
so what was the first serious thing?
In 2005, a buddy of mine, there's a country channel called Outlaw Country, and it's basically country music.
Never heard of it.
They
Never
won't play
heard-
it anymore.
Yeah.
It's Johnny Cash and it's everybody
Yeah.
that country music. Country music is now pop.
Right.
So this was an idea to play all these old dead people that nobody
Right.
gets to hear anymore, and Loretta Lynn and Patsy
Right.
Cline and Willie and
My
and-
mother loved Patsy. Yeah.
Patsy Cline's amazing. So,
Amazing, yeah.
they were looking for voiceover guys to voice track that, and I knew a guy that was doing it, and I'm a music nerd.
Right.
And they would let you literally put your own music in the computer and design your own thing, and then talk
Right.
about it. So you were like DJing your own show.
Right.
So I did that for about a year, and then I had a Comedy Central special coming out, and I had a bunch of road work lined up behind it. So as my contract was ending, I'm like, okay, in a week, this contract's going to be over, and I'm going to come in here and ask you for triple the money, and you're going to tell me you don't have it, and I'm going to go on tour, and this is going to be over.
Right.
And basically, that's what
That's
happened.
what happened?
That's exactly what happened. Little Steven went to bat for me. Little Steven from
Van
Springsteen.
Zandt.
Van Zandt.
Wow.
They gave him, he has a show called The Underground Garage.
Yes.
And
That's
it's
good.
an amazing show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have the Underground Garage channel at Sirius.
Right.
And they were so, inclined to get him on board, they gave him 5 channels. And Outlaw Country was one of his 5. That was his
Wow.
idea. He's like, I like country, but you don't hear it anymore.
Right.
What I like.
Right.
And so he hired Mojo Nixon, who's a friend of mine, who's a musician, and I got lured in through that. So yeah, it was fun, but it's stupid. And then lately here, for the past 6 or 7 months, I was doing the Opie show in the
Opie show,
afternoon.
yeah.
Him and Norton broke up, and Norton went to the morning,
Yeah.
and he went to the afternoon, and we sat there till
Can I just tell you
somebody in
the
HR
story?
ruined it.
Oh my God. So I did Opie
Lots
a
of
lot.
times, yeah.
And it's like I would do Opie, and then I'd get tweets like, "You fucking Jew cunt."
Yeah, me too. Ironically,
I get the same thing.
Yeah, you fucking cunt,
You
Jew,
hillbilly,
lesbian,
redneck,
dyke,
yeah.
Jew.
that's how they paint you, and that's the audience.
Anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
I mean, just everything, like any nasty. And I was like, why do I continue to do this?
Why is the good question.
Right. And my publicist is like, oh, he's got a lot of listeners. I'm like, I know, but I don't need to be called a Jew cunt. All right. Anyway, so the other night, Nick DiPaolo asked me to do a show.
Round 2.
And I go in and I'm like, I said to Roland, I said, is he going to torture me? He said, no, what? His listeners were so nice.
Oh,
Were they?
Cool. That's great.
It was the nicest.
Oh, good. I love Nick.
Yeah, I do too. No kidding.
I was like, I was just waiting for more, and it was like, hey, Judy, I love you. I think you're great. And I was like, wait, what? I was like, it's like I have PTSD from fucking.
There's
so
still so
weird.
many from the Opie and Anthony days and back in
Right.
the days, and they did so much crazy stuff for so long. I think they have still a ton of people that even if they're just listening to him or him
That's
and
the
Jim
audience.
separately, there's still a bunch of meanie crazies out there.
Right. But they like that's what they like.
Yeah, they
You
want
know
you to
what I
yell
mean?
back at them
Yeah.
and say, whatever. I don't, it's
So-
stupid.
What? All right.
You know.
But every time you were on, I knew because you could see even the,
Every time she was on with me, it was funnier than shit. That's
Yeah,
all I
We
know.
had so much fun.
Yeah,
I don't
the
know about
outer edge
anybody.
tweets that would come in,
Yeah,
you'd
yeah,
see.
sure.
There was a high volume of tweeting coming in and out of that show
Right.
when you were on. So
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
Judy's a great guest.
Well, that's
Yeah.
that's the weird thing about radio. The ones that hate you listen longer.
Right. And they're like, I turned it off
Yeah.
when you came on. It's like, no, you didn't, because you just quoted me, you fucking asshole.
So
Yeah.
So Mike and the
It's so
Mad Dog.
strange.
I
Did you see
know.
the Mike and the Mad Dog documentary? They at one point some guy's yelling at him. He goes, "Why do you call into the show?" He goes, "Because I hate you."
I love it. So, what do you like? What's your? You seem like me, sort of, that you'll do comic till you drop fucking
Sure.
comedy
Yeah.
stand up till you drop dead, like me and you and
I hope
Leonard.
so.
What is there anything else like that you?
You know the I always like the writing things, and so like
Right.
that Sasha project was really really cool.
Right.
And I'm not a good actor. You circle all the way back to
Right.
you know.
Wait, let me-
I couldn't get hired to play myself in the sitcom that Foxworthy and I saw. They finally made me audition for the part of the wacky neighbor who was a
yeah.
combination me and
And
his
you-
best
yeah.
and his best friend growing up,
Right.
and I couldn't even get that part.
I
Right.
put Vic in something, and he's like, "I don't want to
okay.
do it. I don't want to
Yeah.
do it." I
I
go,
thought- I fought him
this
on
part
this.
it was written for you. Please, it's okay. We'll do it 100 times. We have nails it. He's great.
Well, it was,
He's
he
great.
totally he tailored it for
Right,
me.
right.
So when,
So,
when I,
can
when I
be
didn't know
done.
what it was, I didn't want to fool with it.
So did you? The
Squid-
other thing about you that I have to say from my perspective, you always seem happy. Like you
I am
always
happy.
seem like no, but you're just like a great guy. You're like it's like hey, you're just like a great guy, and it's like you don't see that. It's
I can pitch a fit and lose my ass though and show out and
Right.
look ugly. Man, on Nantucket last Saturday, I laid this phone down and walked away and thought I'd lost it.
Right.
On a bench in town.
Right.
And for
That
30
is-
minutes, I wanted to murder everybody. I understood
Right.
I understood workplace shootings fully.
Right.
Because so I can pitch a fit and be hissy.
but you're always like so
trying to-
nice and genuine. It's like it's
Well,
not
it was
normal.
when he's got to work, he's usually he goes for the optimist first. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I've seen him. What you gave me the best term I've ever heard coming out of the South. Like this is why I love Vic, because he's got a million terms. There's Southern terms that you don't even
Right.
know, and if you want to yell at somebody, and I mean yell at them to the point of that's the end, it's called motherfucking somebody. Like
I like that.
and and it makes total sense. I've had more stories from Vic of like I've heard I motherfucked this guy.
I told him before
Yeah.
you got here
This
earlier
guy.
today. One of the owners from Stand Up New York. About
Which one? Donnie
yes,
or-
that one? Yeah.
I want to kill
I don't-
him.
I don't-
I've known him since he's a kid in
Okay.
school because he grew up with my neighbor.
I'm, I'm banned from the club. I don't work there anymore
Really?
because of what I'm about.
All right, go ahead.
About 6 or 7 years ago,
sorry, Donnie.
in July heat wave weather, his AC blows out, and
Yeah.
it's 1,000 degrees in
Right.
the club.
It's still
and,
like
and
that.
everybody's soaked through their shirts.
Right.
Everybody soaked.
Right.
Before there's no need to have the show.
Right.
And if you're going to have the show, at least tell the audience as they're
Right.
going in what's going on. Don't
Right.
stand there and act like nothing's wrong.
Right.
Okay. Then part 2, maybe have some frozen drinks on special. Maybe have a bucket of beer. Maybe
Right.
if we're going to put people in a fucking oven,
Right.
let's acknowledge what
Right.
we're doing. Let's apologize for
Right.
it, and let's give them some cold drinks.
Right. For free.
Or whatever, you know.
Right.
So I'm bitching around out on the sidewalk, saying a lot of this to him, and he's like, sounds to me like you're acting like you don't really want to work here anymore. And I'm like, and I just snapped, and I'm like, I'm about to motherfucking living shit out of you, you stupid son of a bitch. I told Lenny, I start drilling him. How long I've been doing this? How many shows I've been out? And I start telling him everything he's done wrong. When the guy from Alabama tells you how to run your business and he's right, you're a real fucking idiot.
Right.
And then I'm shitting on him so bad, I stop in the middle. I'm like, here's how bad I'm motherfucking you. You're not even telling me to shut up. I'm fired. You're standing here taking it.
Right.
Because you don't know what to do.
Right.
Because you're terrified because you're a pussy.
Right.
And you know I'm right.
And what did he say?
Nothing. Stood there and stared at the ground like
Took
a
it.
5-year-old. Just and then I wandered off, and I'm like, "See you later. I don't think I'll be putting in for a while."
Yeah.
So
And that's it?
I waited a couple of years, and I started putting back in, and they were not going to have it. You know?
They don't forget stuff like
so
that.
I enjoyed shitting on him so bad that I
Vic
stopped in the middle of shitting on him to tell him he was not even.
Who did we go in one time? You went in, like somebody was going to buy the room. Was that it? They were going to buy the room, and me, a lot of people went in and told him exactly how to fix the room.
Yes.
Is that Stand Up New York?
No, that was. That was Stand Up New York.
Yeah.
it totally was. Yeah.
When they were going to buy it.
Yeah.
And they
exactly.
did opposite
They
of
did
it.
the opposite of
I
everything
yelled
I told
at
them to do.
that whole there's less seats in it.
It's the stupidest.
It's the stupid. I know.
They pulled the wall out.
Yeah.
They made it into a lounge. The floors are
horrible.
loud. Like
There
it's
was never
the
a door. There was only
never a door. They finally put the
Oh.
door. It took them 5 years.
Someone
to
told me they finally put a door in
did
it
put a
not
door.
too long ago.
All right. I could talk to you.
I told
all
you,
fucking
it's
day.
literally the easiest guess.
I know, but we
ever.
have to leave soon. But I have to ask you. I ask my guests 2 specific questions, and I think I know the answers though. But so first of all,
right.
We're very pro mental health on this show. Have you ever, or are you? I say no. Have you ever been on any antidepressants?
No. I'll smoke pot.
Duh.
So that would be my self-medicating thing.
Never. You've never, and you've never been had a depression.
No.
God, you're so lucky.
I'll get sad about something.
Right,
then,
but no, like you can't even get out of bed.
No, not that bad. The pragmatism,
Right.
as sad as I ever get. I tell people I'm like manic regular.
Right.
I don't go all the way to
But
depressed.
it's probably because you learned such great coping skills because of the shit you had to fucking deal with.
I certainly believe
Yeah.
that. And humor, and my mom, you
Right.
got to laugh to keep
Gloria.
from crying. I only
Yeah.
heard her say it 80 million times.
Yeah,
She
my
still
mother
says it to
always
this
said
day.
that. If we weren't laughing, we'd be crying.
Yeah, and that's Gloria,
Yeah.
and she really believed that. And so to watch her tell the hula hoop story,
Right.
That's an ex-abusive, and she
Right.
just laughs,
Right.
that damn hula hoop, and she just
Right.
gets the biggest cackle, and she knows it's a weird story and it's making
Right.
people uncomfortable, but it's you bear your pain and you laugh,
Right.
and then that way you don't hopefully get too sad. Maybe.
What pisses you off? Like, what makes you so fucking pissed off? Like, you want to fucking motherfuck someone?
Alabama fans.
Really?
Oh yeah, forget it.
No, like really though.
Yeah, really, really, like seriously, really.
Why?
It is a huge rivalry.
You're a second-class citizen in my state if you're an Auburn fan, and we're
Right.
Auburn people, and
Right.
everybody's Alabama. And so, on the Sunday newspaper, their highlight pictures are in colored pictures. You turn the
Right.
page over, the Auburn pictures are in black and white. You are literally a second-class citizen,
Right.
and so just living with those goddamn idiots till I was 21. With roll tide, and just,
Right.
I want to set them on fire. You know, I can't. When the tornadoes hit there 7 or 8 years ago, I went on Facebook and put my 73-year-old mother's new favorite hobby was now seeing that tornadoes have hit Tuscaloosa is storm chasing. And they're all like, we had to like you just so we could say we hate you. And I'm like, fuck you back. You didn't go to Alabama. You went to Walmart and bought a goddamn T-shirt. You did not go.
My girlfriend's niece goes to Alabama.
Well, then she's fine. My one
Right.
niece, Mike's daughter defected and graduated
Right.
with honors from the University of Alabama. And
Your ex-daughter?
No, my
Ex's daughter.
No, my brother Mike, his daughter.
Oh,
my
okay.
niece.
Mike's daughter. Okay,
Mike
that
and-
fucking accent is
Mike and Terry have
ridiculous.
one
Yeah.
daughter, and Tatum went to Auburn, and Katie defected and went to Alabama and married an Alabama guy, and I reduced her high school graduation gift by one.
No way.
Yes, I did. I go, you can have.
Did you tell her?
I told her up front. I gave Tatum 300. I'm giving you 200 because you're going to the goddamn University of Alabama. Sorry, too bad. Sorry, Uncle Vic, you're an asshole.
We don't.
Yes, I am.
You don't understand. The rivalry is off. Like it's the Yankees Mets times a million. You know, it's like crazy.
Or what about Yankees Red Sox?
I would
Same same
That's
thing.
bad.
It's Yankees Red Sox is bad, but this is another. They live this stuff.
My
Right.
joke was I would pull for the Jerry Sandusky coached pedophile Taliban ISIS All Stars before I would pull for the University of Alabama. And I will say, I'll say that sometimes in arenas. They're like, how bad is it? Depending on where we are in America, and I will say that. And half the audience like, oh my God.
That's so
I'm like,
funny.
yeah.
I believe it.
So no, that's really about the only thing that bothers me.
It's unbelievable.
They're annoying. When
you don't get pissed off at
sometimes some things, some political things that are just so
Right.
absurd. When the minute Obama gets elected in 08 and all the
Right.
governors and politicians decide that they're going to sign a
Right.
petition just to say they hate him,
Right.
And no other president,
Right.
That always went on.
Yeah.
You just didn't do it out front with a petition.
Right,
There was always
right, right.
backroom bitching going on in
Right,
D.C.,
right.
but there was never enough. Look what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Fuck this guy.
Right.
So that sometimes will bleed over on me
Right.
and get me annoyed, but that's fucking politics, and you can't do
Right.
it. I grew up with George Wallace and Richard Nixon.
Oh, God,
So the
yeah.
racist and the only guy that quit. So when I get super aggravated with real things that should be important in healthcare and taking
Right.
women's issues, and I'm a mama's boy,
Right.
And so that does burn the living shit out of me. But then knowing that that's with Nixon and Wallace, it's government. It just
Right.
kind of comes with the territory. You can fucking want to choke them all you want, but
Right.
it ain't gonna get much better. I don't think. Anyway.
God, I want to be Vic Henley
I'd
for
rather-
like a week.
I'd rather,
Oh, I don't know.
What?
Does she?
It's all right.
It's all right.
See?
Not
Yeah,
bad.
he's got a good life.
I'm doing nothing for 2 or 3 weeks. So I've been extra lazy. I've just been reading and watching.
Isn't it the best when you
documentaries
can
and
just fucking
enjoy
read
it.
and go, wait,
Yeah.
I don't have to go out.
Yeah,
I don't have
nothing.
to fucking go out.
Nothing.
I don't have to get in the fucking mood or get on a
Exactly.
train and go fucking
Yep,
make people
absolutely.
laugh.
Vic is effortless though. He'd never seen him with a set list. He's just like, well, I'm gonna go up. All right, I'll be right back. And then he just goes up and do the set. I'm like looking at it like
We're
it's a surge.
neurotic
Crazy.
Jays.
Foxworthy and Don Gavin, we were backstage.
I love Don Gavin. Tell him I said hi.
And we're in the green room, and Gavin actually pulls out the notes. And so it's Foxworthy's been
Really?
doing it 33 years. I've been doing it 32. That's 65. Don Gavin's 40. That's 105. And Jimmy Dunn is 30. There's 135 years of comedy in the room. And Foxworthy's going, really, Don? We're going to the notes now?
It's so funny.
And everybody was just fucking with each other backstage. It was so cute. It was absolutely
Oh,
adorable.
I love it. Where can people find you, Vic?
At Twitter, at Vic Henley on Twitter, and on Instagram, I'm at Vic Henley, on Facebook, and VicHenley.com. And I'm at Gotham this Sunday.
No, because you're not on yet.
But I'm on the road with Ron White and Kathleen Madigan. So check those
God,
websites.
by two of my faves.
Yeah, check those websites. I'm with him in Morristown, New Jersey. In
Oh,
August.
very nice.
Hampton Beach, New Hampshire, and Kathleen's coming here at the beginning of the year next year, and she just called me this afternoon about some of those dates.
Great.
So yeah,
God.
I'm always around.
Leonard, what about you?
I'll be at the Comedy Cellar as always, probably
Yes.
for the next
Yeah,
month and a
because
half.
Esty fucking loves you.
I hope so.
She loves it.
There, the Strip, Stand Up
Yeah.
New York, sweating.
That's right.
I'll be
Yeah.
sweating at Stand Up New York.
I live down the street from Sam, and I still won't go there. Okay?
Well, you know, I can't.
I can't deal with the fucking bullshit. All right. Well, thank you all for listening to Kill Me Now. And as we always say, so long!
And everything was wonderful. I'll see you soon. Thank you for the visit. So long.
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. Recently, I asked Mint Mobile's legal team if big wireless companies are allowed to raise prices due to inflation. They said yes. And then when I asked if raising prices technically violates those onerous 2-year contracts, they said, "What the f*** are you talking about, you insane Hollywood ass?" So to recap, we're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.